excited because we're heading to Madeira.
And it was a little bit scary.
Sea's got really rough, wind is gusting to about 30 knots.
So the two windsurfing boards are now together on a right, and he's fallen under and got stuck underneath.
We're just getting ready to leave. We've come to say goodbye to Judith and Patrick, our friends. A bit sad, but we are really excited because we're heading to Madeira. Ryan, tell us about the journey.
We're heading to Madeira.
Trousers.
We're heading to Madeira. We're going to head out quite a way to get around the acceleration zone, so I think it might be about 30 knots.
That's at the north of La Palma.
North of La Palma.
Puppy, are you ready?
And then we'll turn to our true course and head to... We're going to aim for Funchal, I think it's called, but we're not actually going to that marina.
We're all ready, everything's stowed.
That's the plan at the moment.
How many miles have we got to do?
250.
And how many hours roughly averaging at 5 knots?
51.
51 hours. Cool, so hopefully we'll be there by Friday.
Friday lunchtime would be nice. Yeah.
Good to go.
Let's go.
We've just left La Palma. Sea's pretty good. So we've hit the acceleration zone. Sea's got really rough. Wind is gusting to about 30 knots. We're not comfortable sailing in that really. It's the start of our 2-day trip. We don't want the drama. So we've dropped all the sails and we're motoring. Hopefully we should be out of it in about half hour, do you reckon? Hour. And then we're good, then we can sail. But yeah, pretty rough. So what are we doing today, Ryan?
We are sailing, but we're just trying to outrun this rain cloud at the moment because I don't want to get wet.
Full set of sails up. We've been practicing our sailing because we're still pretty new, aren't we?
Yeah, not the most confident.
No. We've got about 12 knots of wind and we are doing 4-5 knots. We are heading way off course, and why is that?
We just can't hold our course
Because of the angle of the wind.
Until we're like 50 miles off course, I think, and then tack back over at a right angle to get back on course.
Sea state is okay. It's quite nice actually.
It's lovely for once.
So 2 days might turn into 3.
I don't think it'll be 3 days. I think it'll be Friday night we get there.
Hopefully.
It's not bad. It's, what's that? 58 hours, 59 hours, something like that.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Beating into the wind and the waves, it's not. I don't think that's too bad, but
no,
sure
I don't.
Other people know more than me.
Oh my god!
I see them coming from miles away. Water's clear, isn't it?
Oh my god, there is loads of them. See, they're still coming.
Yeah, look, even in the distance. Whoa. You hear them as well? I don't know if you'll be able to hear that on the camera. There's absolutely nothing around us. There's no wind, so we've stopped sailing. And these guys show up.
We had some friends on board, Adam and Amy, and they wanted to know what a lot of the ropes do on board Chelsea. There's actually no ropes on board a boat. They're called halyards and sheets. Halyards are what hold the sails up and sheets are what control the sails. On this side we have our spinnaker one, This is the halyard for the light wind sail, which is the sail at the very front of our boat. We have the genoa, and this is the halyard that holds up the jib. So these ones go up. This is the main sheet, so this controls the boom, which moves out and in depending on where the wind is. This is the vang, that controls the boom and it either lowers or highes it, so it flattens the sail. This is reef 2. We also have reef 1 and reef 3. We use the reefs when there's too much wind and we need to make the sail make the sail smaller. So we have 3, some boats have 2, but that's what they are. We've got the outhaul, that is a sheet that runs all the way along the bottom of the mainsail. We don't really use that, but it just keeps the bottom of the sail flat. Main halyard, this is the one, we've got it on the winch at the moment. This is what we use to raise the mainsail. We normally do it by hand and then winch up the last bit because it's really heavy, but we've kept it on because sometimes it slips down a bit and we want the sail as tight as possible. And we have our tack line, and that we winch out when we get the jib out, and it unfurls the jib, and then we use it to control how much jib we have out and the angle of the jib. So it's 6 o'clock, we're going into our second night. We've had a good day sailing, made up a few miles, but the wind has completely died now. We've got about 8 knots, which is 8 knots apparent, so we're making 4 knots of that wind. We've got the main up, but we don't really think it's doing much. So we've got the motor on. We've got to get there really quite quickly because there's a storm coming in on Sunday. The plan was to get there Friday, but we've had to come about 50 miles out of our way and now we've got no wind, so it's not ideal. So we are having to motor. We would love to sail, but it's just not possible with the storm that's predicted. Who knows if it'll actually come in, we just can't tell. So yeah, a bit rubbish, but it's beautiful. Sea state is quite good, so we can't really complain. We'll just see what happens.
We are 80 miles from Madeira and we're motor sailing because there's, I don't know, I think there's 5 knots of wind. But yeah, be there tomorrow evening, might slow it down and sit outside Madeira until the early hours Saturday morning. Don't know if we want to approach in the dark, we don't know it. We don't know what there's been crab pots around. We don't know the marinas, so yeah, we might just sit outside for tomorrow night, go in first thing Saturday morning. Can't see us getting there tomorrow in the light, so but yeah, we'll basically be there tomorrow evening. Lots of shooting stars tonight, so that's pretty cool. A bit chilly, but it's alright. The sun's just coming up and I've been looking out all night for boats on the AIS and their navigation lights, and there was nothing, and I've just seen this guy on the horizon with no lights on and no AIS. So that could have been a bit scary in the middle of the night. Sun's up, just risen, we are sailing. Not too great. 3.72 and we have 8.7 knots of wind.
So we're just coming to the end of our crossing. We've got about 2 miles left. This is Madeira. At about 2 o'clock in the morning, we're in Funchal in Madeira. It was quite a good crossing. It took us 64 hours overall, and this is the marina. So we're in Funchal Marina. We've just come out to have a bit of an explore. The weather's not very good, it's really windy, so we can't go out sailing.
So I've just said to Faye, look at this cool looking duck. Faye has then said it's a turkey. Now I don't know what it is, but I know it's probably not an aquatic turkey.
Well,
if anyone does know, let us know.
I think that's a turkey duck.
A turkey duck, yeah? We're very happy to be here.
We are.
It's nice, but expensive.
Very expensive.
Well, it's more expensive than the Canaries by like double.
These are the cable cars. You can get it up to the top of the mountain. It's 16 euros for a round trip and 11 euros for one way. We wanted to do it this morning, but we didn't get up in time.
So we've just been walking around the back streets of Madeira to see, explore, and we've just come down this street here and the one adjacent to it, and there is dogs in every garden, and some of them were trying to get over the walls to pop in.
Like huge guard dogs, weren't they?
Yeah, and it was a little bit scary.
Very scary.
So I mean, each house had like 3 guard dogs, and they seemed really violent. Bless her, she didn't even react, so that was good. But
You're alright, and your pops. We've just left Funchal Marina. We've been here about 4 days. It's been really lovely, but we're going to a little Anchorage, Muchacho, we think. But there's a little bay. There is a marina there, but it's a commercial port, so we can't go in there. But we're going to anchor. Hopefully the swell won't be that bad because the wind's predicted to be fairly high over the next few days, but we'll see. So we've just raised the main and got the jib out, and our speed, Ryan, what's our speed? About 6?
between 5 and 6.
Between 5 and 6 knots, and the wind is?
It's between 8 and 11.
Between 8 and 11, so we're not doing bad. We're going into the wind, which isn't our favourite. So we've lost quite a lot of wind. It got down to like 2 knots. So we put up our light wind sail. We're now generating our own wind, which is good, and we're doing about 4 and a half.
Yeah, 4.5.
Which isn't bad. We're just motoring into the Anchorage, where we're going to be for definitely tonight, maybe a few days, we're not sure. It looks really beautiful, but we can see a hell of a lot of whitecaps out the front of the little valley bit. So we're not sure if it's actually going to be that protected. So we'll go in and have a look. So we made it in, we've dropped the anchor, and this place looks really, really cool. There's our friends on board Sheila.
So I'll explain what just happened. Simone is with Anna on Sheila, and Simone was out kite surfing with, not with someone, but there was someone else out there. No, sorry, windsurfing. And the wind changed direction and they couldn't get back in. So Anna got a phone call from Simone asking for help, and we went as well. When we got to Simone, the other guy had drifted around the corner, so I went to go and get him, and dragging the other guy back, towing him back. Our engine overheated and cut out, so then Simone and Anna had to come and rescue us, and their engine is a 3 horsepower.
I don't know.
I think it's a 3 horsepower, but by now it's got them on their boat, it's towing our tender and the guy with the 2 windsurfs in the water, so it wasn't doing much, and the wind was pushing us onto the rocks.
You can see how much the wind is moving the water. I should just raise our anchor and go and get them, because they're too close to the rocks.
As they were trying to pull us, as we were trying to head off the rocks, their engine started cutting out.
This is phenomenal. I think both tenders have run out of petrol.
So we started rowing with the engine for as long as it would last, and then we was just about to make a decision to for Simone and Anna to come back and get their boat to come back and grab us. I'm not sure if that would have been a good idea because we were very close to the rocks. I'm not sure the anchor would have got up in time and whatnot. So then I had the cap off of our engine to help it cool down. It started, and then as I started going, the guy fell off of his windsurfing board. I shouldn't be laughing. So the two windsurfing boards are now together on a rope, and he's fallen under and got stuck underneath the windsurfing boards as if his day wasn't bad enough. Anyway, he then got out. We released from them. We come back, dropped off the windsurfing boards and the Portuguese or Madeiran guy, and then headed back out to help these guys. And now we're all back safe and sound, having a drink. And Simone's just taken the guy to the port over there.
And we're celebrating being alive.
Yeah.
For you guys anyway. I was just chilling here.
It just shows you've got to be a bit careful even if you're going to rescue someone, because then you could end up needing rescuing yourself. Today we're going to Porto Santo, which is an island just north of Madeira. We're leaving from Machicho in Madeira. It's a small little town, like a little fishing town. The wind and waves aren't perfect, so we've got to head north-east and the wind is coming from the northwest. It's predicted to gust up to 25 knots, sitting around 16 normally, so it's quite a big range. I think we'll probably go on a reef too, because with the apparent we'll be looking at over 30 knots. The swell, maybe 10 foot, but once we get around the Cape we can have a look and assess the situation from there. It's about 32 miles and we're hoping to do it in 6 hours. That's averaging around 5 knots, but with the wind we may go faster, but with the swell it may make us go slower. Depends how steep they are and how close together they are. Let's see how it goes. It'll be an interesting day.
We've got 18 miles left to go, so we're not quite halfway yet. It's been quite good. We've got about 24 knots roughly, which is one of the strongest we've ever been with both sails up. So yeah, we're pretty pleased. We've got reef 2 in the main and we've reefed the jib as well, because we are getting gusts much higher. But yeah, it's going quite well. The sea state is quite rough, the waves are huge. But it's okay, Chelsea's handling it, so all good. We're nearly here now. We've got 4 miles left. We've got about 26 knots of wind now, so we think there's a bit of an acceleration zone around the island. But it's looking good. The sea state is still pretty rough, but it's been a good sail. We're averaging about 5-6 knots, which we're quite happy with. Yeah, looks good.
We're just coming out of the windy zone, so in a minute we're going to take the reef out of the jib and just maintain that for a bit, just to make sure that no wind is funneling on the other side of the island, of the little island just off of Porto Santo. And then once we're sure of that, we'll shake the reefs out of the main, and there, it's just died. We'll shake the reefs out of the main and sail the rest of the way, a couple of miles.
So we're nearly here in Porto Santa. It's taken just under 6 hours. Our friends Anna and Simon are here already. And yeah, it's been good. This is it.
Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our patrons. You can follow our journey on Facebook and Instagram. The links are in the comments. And if you like the video, please do like it and share it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Thanks!